Hello, me again. Instalment number 2 on the Dubai Daily Walk. I think I've decided on a name. I think I'm going to go for Protection Walks, but I might change my mind. I don't know. But quite a short one this one. I'm just going to go through some critical illness products. But the main thing to bear in mind if you have got a critical illness insurance policy with a provider, or if you're thinking of getting one, is every insurer gives a different policy and they give different definitions. So some may cover 100 conditions, some may cover 30, some cover 52. Everyone is different, they all have different definitions. But just to give you an example, the top 4 critical illness claims, and it's across the board for all the providers. The top one is cancer, unsurprisingly. You've then got heart attack, stroke and multiple sclerosis. Unfortunately, I don't really like to talk about it, but the unfortunate thing is the 4th position, multiple sclerosis, can sometimes be changed about depending on the provider. So with some providers, number 4 is multiple sclerosis. Some providers, number 4 is children's critical illness. And the reason why it's swapped is that some life insurance providers, with their critical illness product, they do cover children's critical illnesses. Some don't. So it's horses for courses, really. I think if you do have kids, it's probably worth you having children's critical illness, because if that was to happen, you're probably going to need to take some time off work for hospital appointments and to spend time with them and look after them and focus on their recovery. So if you have got kids, it's probably worth it checking that that's on there. But yeah, I mean, they're the top 4 claims across the market, but again, some cover 100, some cover 52, 60, 70, it all depends. But if I was to tell you that provider A covers 30 conditions, but provider B covers 70 conditions, you would probably think that you'd want to go with provider B because they cover more conditions and there's a better chance of claiming. But unfortunately, it's not really the case, and my philosophy on critical illness cover is that it's quality over quantity. So I'll give you an example. Provider B that covers the 70 odd conditions, 3 of those 70 may be different definitions of heart attack. So for example, heart attack with debilitating consequences, and just minor heart attack or whatever it may be. So there's 3 kind of conditions there, like 3 different types of heart attack as an example. Whereas provider A, who gives 30 conditions, it's just their definition is heart attack, and heart attack is heart attack. So I quite like that. There's no fuss. There's no there's no like terms and conditions. There's no criteria that you have to meet. If you're diagnosed with a heart attack, you get the claim. A heart attack is a heart attack. So I think that's quite a good one, and just to tell you what can happen. And I'm not a doctor. I'm not I don't have any medical qualifications at all, but just from my research on this, if you do have a heart attack, your troponin levels in your blood changes. So most people have a heart attack outside of hospital. So once you've if you are having a heart attack and you get into A&E via ambulance or however you get there, a cardiologist will probably take a blood will probably take a blood sample and measure your troponin levels to see whether you've had a heart attack or not. Now, like provider B, they may say your troponin levels need to be under or over a certain amount to class it as that severity of a heart attack. But if you've had a heart attack at home and you go to A&E, how long is it going to take you to get there? If you have a heart attack and it takes, for example, 45 minutes to get from your home to A&E, and then you get a blood sample taken for your troponin levels, they may change in that 45 minutes. So, I mean, where does the law, where do you really stand? Do you know what I mean? Does it make it a valid claim once they've taken those levels of what they are then, or what they estimated to be at the time you had the heart attack? It's a little bit of a sort of, you're not really sure. It's a little bit of a minefield on that one, and it all depends at the point of claim, I guess. But in my personal opinion, I would rather be with provider A that covers 30 conditions, and they cover the top 4, which pretty much most of the claims are cancer, heart attack, stroke, multiple sclerosis and children's critical illness. So I'd rather be with provider A that covers 30 conditions but just has a definition of heart attack. So no troponin levels, no severity, nothing like that. A heart attack is a heart attack. So there's no ifs, there's no buts. So yeah, I mean, it's quality over quantity. But every single provider, I deal with, over 10 life insurance providers, and every single one of those providers has a different critical illness proposition and a different critical illness contract. So just mindful of taking, your circumstances into consideration. And, if you've got kids, putting you with a provider that has children's critical illness, but also putting you with a quality provider rather than the quantity to increase your chances of claiming and things like that. But I know I said I wasn't going to edit any of these videos, but I just want to put a little bit of a disclaimer out there as well. Is even though all of them cover different conditions and things like that, they've all got pretty much fantastic claim stats on critical illness, which I think is really good. But I would rather be with provider A. I know where I stand. Heart attack is a heart attack. So yeah, any questions, any queries, drop me a message. It's fine. If you want to ask somebody else, that's still also fine. I'm not trying to twist your arm. So yeah, a bit cold today. Looking out of the spare bedroom, working from home, it looks quite warm. But as soon as I stepped outside, it was quite cold. But still no aeroplanes in the sky, and I'm looking forward to see some satellites tonight. Stay safe.